Before we begin, a quick word about who we are. Inside Story Travel is a bespoke travel business I founded for North American travellers who want more than just a checklist of the UK. We build private itineraries and small group retreats rooted in landscape, story, and the people who steward both. You can find us at insidestorytravel.com, and if today's conversation moves something in you, our retreats are where these stories become a week of your life. If you enjoyed today's Transatlantic Teacast, please follow, subscribe, and leave us a review wherever you listen. It really does help. Thank you. Hello and welcome to the Transatlantic Teacast.
Yay.
Good to see you all. Hurrah! Here we
got it
are.
right.
The new year. I got it right. It's a running joke.
Yay.
I always get the intro wrong. So today I got it right. Quick introduction of who we are. I'm Lucy, owner and chief travel curator of Inside Story. We have Michael, Squire of the Shire, over there in the Cotswolds.
Yeah.
And today, very excitingly, we have Jane with us, Jane Knight. She is the owner and I don't know, what would you say, owner or operator of Sparvelous, which is a
founder, owner,
team
maker, pretty much everything.
General Dogs Buddy. A website, sparvelous.co.uk, and also on Instagram, where she reviews all of the up-and-coming spas, existing spas in the UK, giving reviews and top tips on where the best places are to go. And she also advises us here at Inside Story on anything we need to know spa-related. So welcome, Jane. It's good to see you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Very excited.
Yeah. A quick intro after the intro. What is it that got you interested in spas, in the world of spas?
I first started going to spas, or a spa, when I was working in publishing in London. Had a very exciting job, but it also had its fair share of stresses, and there just happened to be a Champney spa around the corner in the Meridian Hotel. So instead of blowing all my cash on drinking and handbags, I signed up for this spa and basically just was wowed by how it could completely take you from being stressed and frazzled to a state of calm, only to be undone when I was back in the office.
But for a moment or a while, it did the job. Okay.
Exactly.
And how do you think spas have changed over the last 20 years? Have you seen a lot of changes, or have things remained
Definitely.
fairly constant?
I think when I first started reviewing spas, which is over 20 years ago, it was very much, it was about sort of mass experiences. Like Champneys is a good example. It was about sort of having treatments, but it was quite sort of blingy. It wasn't really necessarily like a total end-to-end experience, or necessarily particularly personalized. Apart from, there were a few health farms, if you remember back in the day,
yes.
that did do things a bit differently. But now I think it's much different. I mean, obviously wellness, as you guys gave us the term, has exploded, and it's much, much more personalized. It's now nature embracing the whole experience, the holistic side, from when you enter the spa or the hotel, to the food, to the bed, the quality of the night's sleep. Everything is taken care of.
In fact, I'm feeling in need of a spa after Christmas. I feel like Christmas is exhausting.
Perfect time for it.
Exactly. Well, today we are going to be talking all things travel trends for 2026. A lot of that is spa related, is wellness related. So Jane's well positioned for this podcast. I think the first one that comes up And I've seen the term hospitality in the media recently. I think Home and Garden coined the phrase, but it's really all about getting away from our phones, from the digital, being online constantly, and just peace and quiet, good old peace and quiet, which is now becoming a luxury, quite ironically. So it's off grid. Think tree houses, agri farm stays, hot tubs in the wood, whatever it is that really gives you that kind of simpler, nature-based escape. Any examples of those we can think of, Michael? Do you have any what would be your hospitality if you could?
Used to travel quite a bit with my job, so I'd sort of find places that were near to where I was visiting, which tended to be, so I was going to see agricultural businesses, so I tend to find sort of Airbnbs or private rent places that were in the middle of nowhere. And yeah, that was great because literally it was just me, like in a shepherd's hut on a farm,
Sounds perfect for you.
which is
Yeah, I
fantastic.
know.
After spending all
Yeah.
day kind of like talking and on my computer and everything. So yeah, that was great. But it's fairly new to me, to be fair. I love walking and hiking. So for me, getting away from it all and getting away from my phone is getting out there in the hills and walking. I mean, I did a walk a couple of years ago in Scotland where within 20 minutes I lost all phone signal and I didn't get it back for 3 days.
Amazing.
And that was, yeah, it was, it was just felt incredibly liberating. Actually, it's just like you go sort of instinctively sometimes just reach for your phone.
Were you wild camping then, or were you?
Yeah, we were staying in bothies and wild camping,
Okay.
and yeah,
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
completely in the middle of nowhere. It was
So it doesn't have to be at a resort. It can just be
yeah,
putting on your walking boots and heading out.
mm,
And if I'm right in thinking bothies, anyone can stay in them. You can
yeah.
just turn up. You don't have to book them or anything.
No, you just turn up, and
Yeah.
it is a complete mishmash of all sorts of characters and people. From not just from this country, but I met people from Germany, from Finland, from Denmark, Sweden, and just all over the UK. Yeah, it was quite a real
So
mix
for
of
American visitors, a bothy is like a little house or a shelter in the middle of the Scottish Highlands or
yeah.
hills. Normally stone, been there for a long time, pretty basic, no beds.
Yeah, you've pretty much got like wooden platforms, I guess. Literally. So you're not on the floor, but you have to obviously you carry your own sleeping equipment. Now you'll probably have a table and chairs, and there'll be a wood burning stove, and that's there'll be some basic tools to go and gather some firewood, and the all important shovel.
Yes. Wink, wink. We know
for
what the
one's
shovel's for.
morning ablutions. And that's literally it. And as I said, it's just this complete, mishmash of people and characters and kind of, it's quite unique. But you're all kind of together, and it's you sort of spend the evening together, which is quite interesting.
Bonding.
And there's no electricity, there's no running water. Yeah, you really are. Yeah, on your own, out in the elements.
And obviously a low cost way of doing it, like it's zero cost.
Yes, it's free. Yeah.
So other things that seem to be kind of really taking off is the whole Finnish Nordic kind of sauna spa experience. I don't know if you have any favorites, Jane, on that front. Like, are there any that have stood out to you or that you think are interesting?
Yeah. I mean, there are so many now, which is brilliant. So I'm down on the south coast, and actually here in Brighton, we have a very nice one called Beach Box, which is basically like a sauna spa. So you've got a group of saunas, you've got your cold plunges in a bath, and then a big tub, cold showers, and you can look out to sea as well while you get roasted. So
that sounds wonderful. Yeah,
it's brilliant. And it's a real community there as well. And these are popping up all over the country, all over the UK. And yeah, they're having quite the moment. I mean, they're getting creative as well. So it started off, you just sweated, maybe chatted. Then it's kind of progressed to Aufguss, which I don't know if you're familiar with this, but it's a ritual that you have in the sauna where the heat is distributed with sort of wafty towels, for want of a better term.
Yes, I've seen that where they
That's
throw it
it.
around. Yeah,
And
and it gets
all about, right? Okay.
yes,
then
and
it
they
gets
put different
really hot.
aromatics. It gets really hot. You get different fragrances. Put in different essential oils. They're introducing, ice balls that have also got essential oils to cool off. There are poetry readings. Apparently, a book club now.
Wow.
It's
That's interesting.
all going down
Yeah.
in the sauna. But these used to be, like, saunas used to be a real kind of afterthought, that if you went into a spa back in the day and somebody had got a spare cupboard, that would be where they put the sauna. So yeah, all different now. And I think as well, people are getting savvy to the benefits, the vascular dilation of the kind of hot cold thing. And we're loving it here.
I also love the idea. There's some places, I've got a couple here. There's one called Hune in Richmond, Yorkshire, where you can stay in a cabin and then you jump in the lake, and that's your like cold plunge.
Amazing.
And you wild swimming and, get back in again. So that's kind of cool. There's another one, I don't know if you've heard of this one, called Saltmoor in Whitby.
Oh, yes.
Which also has wild swimming. And so you're like incorporating nature into it as well.
I think there's a lot of spas that are by the sea that are really sort of elevating their offering through the combination of the heat experiences and then the sea swimming as well. And likewise with even sort of more rural spas that have got big estates, they're introducing different kind of heat experiences and saunas, and also setting up more rural options. So maybe like a private hot tub. I know certainly at Rudding Park up near Harrogate, they've got this lovely like enclosed area where you can go and just sit in the hot tub and have some quiet time listening to the birds. And yes, it's all very lovely.
So, okay, just to kind of tackle the elephant in the room, naked or not?
That is the big question. As you would probably expect, not is very popular here in the UK.
We are British after all.
Yeah, we don't like to
I
barrel.
have German family, and if you were to wear your swimming costume in the sauna, that would be an absolute no-no.
Yeah. It's thought of as very unhygienic, isn't it? I think here in the UK, people think it's more hygienic, but actually, as soon as you venture out, it's pretty frowned upon.
I was in a sauna once in Germany, and this chappie came in. He wasn't German. I'm not sure where he was from. And this old German lady got very cross with him because he had his swimmers
budgies.
On. He had his budgies on, and she started tugging at his budgies, telling him in German to take them off. Poor guy was like absolutely petrified. Like, what is going on?
What the hell is going on?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So I'm kind of like, I feel like naked feels better, but in America, it's also very much like swimmers on. Like, nobody would go naked unless it's maybe single sex. I don't know. What do you think, Michael?
Well, I think you know what I think, Lucy.
But I want you to say
I don't even like catching a glimpse of myself in the mirror. Let alone,
some things are best left covered. Is that what you're saying?
Most things, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a cultural thing, Europe versus England and America.
They do have clothing optional sessions at quite a few spas as well. So.
Okay, yeah.
But that opens another sort of can of worms.
Well, then you need to sit on a towel.
For want of a better word.
You need to sit on a towel if you've got no clothes on.
You always need to
yes.
sit on a towel. Actually, people are quite
Yeah.
strict about that here now.
Yeah. Otherwise that's just you, I think.
Yes.
So, Michael, does the sauna appeal at all, really, or no? Have
Not
you ever done
naked.
that?
I'm still recovering
Definitely not naked.
and well, yes, it does actually, because I did my sort of only experience of a spa was Woolacombe Bay Hotel, which is like a sort of
In
privately
Devon.
owned hotel down in Devon. And they had well, as I said, it's my only experience. So that what I thought was, a purpose-built spa, like you say, it wasn't an afterthought. It was obviously the sauna there, and the steam room were obviously purpose-built and everything. And there was a plunge pool and everything. Zoe, my wife, was having like a treatment session or what have you, and I thought, because we were there for the weekend, we had access to all the facilities. So I thought, well, I'll give this, the sauna and the steam room, because I get confused between. I thought a steam room was a sauna, but it's not. A sauna is just a dry heat, isn't it?
Yeah.
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 So should you do one before the other, or is there an order in which these things need to be done? I don't really know. Anyway, I kind of flitted between the two, and but I really did actually quite enjoy getting really hot and getting really sweaty. And then obviously, jumping into the plunge pool. That was quite invigorating, I have to say.
Yeah.
But that's as much as I've done, really. But I do like kind of getting in. It's quite good fun to get into the sea at in the winter and all that kind of stuff. And
yeah, definitely have a nice cup of tea or a thermos of tea.
Wild swim, yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting you ask actually about the difference between saunas and steam rooms, and is there a particular order you have to do it? Because something that I've seen when I've been going to spas is that they've actually started to give a little bit of instruction, knowing that some people, this is new to them, and I think particularly
People
men
that don't know what they're doing.
So
there you go. Perfect.
And also encouraging people to, after they've been in the sauna, have a shower before they get into the bath or whatever, so that they're not sharing too much.
Yeah, you don't want it. Like this always makes me think about the bath that rugby players used to have after the game. You know where they all get in there with their mud and their sweaty bods and everything. Yeah, no, you don't want that.
You thought about that often,
not so much.
Lucy, have you?
I have actually, but that's a different podcast.
Big rugby players all having a soapy bath together.
It's kind of weird when you think about it, but anyway, moving swiftly on.
I don't think about it.
Clearly
you do.
I thought
but anyway,
that was normal.
That's a completely different podcast. Sorry.
So what spas? What are the hot tips for 2026 then, Jane? If we wanted to, go and have our first spa experience, maybe like Michael, or like for me, what would you suggest as a stressed out mum of two?
I think, well, it depends what you like. I think if you love the kind of the nature spas, which I think they're really having at the moment, there are some beautiful coastal spas. Carbis Bay, which is near St Ives, is particularly lovely. They've got an outdoor pool, they've got the heat experiences, they've got the swimming obviously in the sea, which is very very good for beginners, and they do sea swimming courses there as well. So you can actually have a sort of induction with somebody who knows what they're doing. So that's a really good starting point if you're a sea swimmer or looking to foray into the water.
Yeah.
And at the luxury end, heading up north to the Lake District, there's the Gilpin Hotel, which, if you want to aim high and start with your own private spa suite, so you can't make any public mistakes, you literally can stay in a beautiful contemporary cabin that's got a sauna, steam room, amazing massage chair, massage table. You can then head out for Michelin-starred dining. So if you want to aim high, that's a nice start. But
I think now you're talking Michael's language.
I can see he's perked up.
I have. Tell me more. The fact that yeah, I have a bit of an aversion to anything communal, really. I just don't really like
Yes.
public swimming pools or anything like that, or anything.
Well, you could run around as naked as you like if you had your own
Yeah,
space, right?
I might be quite happy to do that if I'm just on my own.
Exactly.
So that that sounds relatively appealing, actually. Yeah,
Yeah. No, that
my
does
own
sound
private
good.
spa. Yeah.
Yeah.
There are some nice
absolutely.
boutique options too. So I went actually a few weeks ago to a place in Penzance called Chapel House, and I think they've only got 6 bedrooms, but they do everything for you. And I think you alluded to this earlier, that basically today the real luxury is sort of having less, having everything done for you. You don't have to think about anything. They provide dry robes. They've got a sauna and a hot tub there. Like, it's small, it's friendly, it's, you know, very intimate. It's a great place for solo travelers, actually, that one. And that's, again,
Solo
a really good
women
place
as well, maybe. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think that's a really big group that we're seeing going to spas more, like on their own, and solo guys.
I have a little, because I think you did wild swimming there, didn't you?
Yes.
I have
And
a
we got
little-
taken. Oh,
I have another
amazing.
guest. She's just bobbing along. That's my newest tea cozy.
Wow. That
It's
is a
my
tea
hobby,
cozy.
yeah.
And she can take her goggles off as well. So
She is quite something.
Isn't
Goggles?
she? Yeah.
It's
Sorry
not
to
gonna go-
interrupt.
Alas, you're giving my golden elephant envy there.
Oh,
But
it matches the backdrop though.
that's good.
Looks
That's very
good.
important.
It is very important. So there was the Chapel House in Penzance.
Yeah. Then there's some, like some of the top end places. So like, I'm sure you're familiar with the Newt in Somerset. So they're actually starting their first retreats as well. But it's not like everyone turns up and you all do a sauna and then you all have a massage. It's very much, it's kind of a slow and restorative, immersive retreat, I think. So it's a lot of the retreats now are talking about sort of restoration and incorporating the kind of holistic elements and the somatic side of things, so incorporating mind and body. So I think on this retreat, you know, obviously the ground's stunning and you turn up and you can do some wild swimming, and then I think they're doing like qigong as well there. Everything's very slow and in tune with nature.
What is qigong?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yes,
Like
so
Tai Chi?
Similar. It's basically Chinese therapy through movement, and I think this is another trend that trend makes it sound a bit cheap, and it also seems a bit disingenuous when it's something that's so old, but it's
and spiritual, obviously.
Yes, and I think increasingly spas are looking towards like Ayurvedic medicine and traditional Chinese medicine, and also these other kind of movement-based therapies to offer people something different. But it's also something that they can take away. So spas used to be more of a kind of quick fix. Where can I go? Oh, look, I've had a facial. Skin looks better. Let's go. Now I think a lot of them are looking more towards, oh, let's look at metabolism. Okay, if you eat like this and, you know, education, you can take that away. Again, the practice of Tai Chi or something, it can start people off on a whole new kind of
I like
hobby,
that.
for want of a better
It's
word.
a new beginning rather than just, I also read, and I'm not sure if it's the Newt. I know the Newt do like kind of local maker type sessions, but mindful kind of making or crafting. So I was telling Michael just now before we went live, there's one in Yorkshire where they do blacksmithing, and it's kind of a mindful, you know, it's a retreat for people who find that relaxing. So it doesn't have to be something, you know, new age or spiritual, or if there's something like practical that really relaxes you, or carpentry, or
sort of and forest skills and that kind of thing. I mean, I'd love to do something like that where you sort of, you know, go and sort of live in the woods. And I mean, I have seen a couple of courses and what have you, like bushcraft courses and that kind of thing, where you go and sort of just doing things with your hands, sort of creating, making tools and cooking over
Rewilding.
fire, and all that kind of stuff. I love it.
Yeah. It's natural mindfulness, isn't it?
Yeah,
You're just immersed in your flow activity, and you haven't got time to worry about anything.
Yeah. Yeah, and actually the quick fix spa, although a massage is absolutely wonderful, you do forget it very quickly. So you're right, the others are something that you can take forward into your life. I like that.
Yeah. I guess it's different needs, isn't it? There's a place for both. So everything, all bases are covered.
Exactly. Well, I think that's great. That gives us something to plan for this year. I think if I was to do anything this year, I think I'd really like to go and sit in a cabin in the woods with a sauna. Michael, what would you do for this year, do you think?
Sitting in a cabin in the woods on my own, with my family, what have you. Yeah, just getting away from
You have to say that. You have to say that.
I had to just check myself there. Just getting away, and just getting away from screens and just the sort of day-to-day kind of like hecticness of life and that stuff. And I mean, as I said, I love to do my walks and that kind of thing, and that really kind of resets for me. I'd love to kind of maybe do something a bit more, some kind of bushcraft skills or something, or the blacksmithing, or just something tangible that you do with your hand. I think just working with your hands is really good for mental health and the soul and that kind of thing. So I think it's.
And I think what we'll do after this session is on my blog, on my website, insidestory.com, I'll put on some links there of some of these places where people can find them and book them. Jane, what would your number one be, or where are you going next?
Oh, I've got a couple of things lined up. The next thing I'm going to is actually the at King's Cross, robbed a bank, who is basically trying to turn the Isle of Wight, I think, into sort of the sauna capital of the UK, if not beyond. They've set up something in Coldrops Yard where they've got sort of saunas and meditation. So I'm actually going to be checking that out next week. And
so
also
you can
going
get off
to
the train and straight in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that should be quite fun, I think. And then going to somewhere called Damu Spa, which again is something a little different. It's at the Mandrake, which is in London. Sort of quite phantasmagorical kind of hotel.
Ooh,
and they've got this
it's pretty cool.
They've got a chromotherapy pool there, which it's got sound and light, and they've got lovely sort of mud treatments. So I'll be trying that as well. But what I'm actually looking forward to as well is testing out some different treatments now that there's a real move towards personalized treatments, but also quite a few spas are making their own products sort of as part of the story. So I don't know, it's a bit like they're burning sap from the local trees in the sauna. They're making poultices from the herbs that grow on site. And some of the treatments now just are so designed to hit the spot for where you're at in the current moment. And I find that fascinating. And again, they've sort of got a holistic approach. So it's combining breath work, calming down nervous system. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to exploring
I feel like
that.
I need a bucket full of that in January.
Yeah, I think we all do. It is actually Blue Monday today, of course.
It is. Yeah.
Oh, is it?
So
What's
apparently
Blue
we're meant to be
Monday?
feeling very depressed. It's the biggest low day of the year.
Who coined it Blue Monday? How did that come up?
I think
Marketing department.
Yeah.
Because obviously it's the middle of the month, middle of January, so
Yes,
you
okay.
completely run out of money.
Yeah.
You're in debt from Christmas. You kind of like, it's just the weather's crap.
If you're in UK, it's bad.
Yeah, and it has been dreadful today, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys.
I'm all right.
It's okay, actually. I think it's
Well,
been
glad
quite a
you
good
guys
one
seem
for me.
Good. Well, let's raise the tone then, shall we? No Blue Monday here. Let's talk about trend number two, the dark sky travel trend, which is also, I think, in many ways about mindfulness. It's the ultimate digital detox, because a lot of these places where they are dark sky designated, you don't get signal. I mean, they're in the middle of nowhere. The UK has been pretty proactive on this front. So just to qualify, a dark sky area is where there is minimal or no artificial light at all. So the stars, the sky is really dark. And the UK have multiple dark sky reserves and parks where you can see, amazing starry nights, as well as sometimes the aurora borealis as well, I think. So they're calling it star or dark sky bathing, which sounds wonderful.
Can I just tell you that,
yeah,
I actually saw the aurora borealis in Ewley, which is just up the road.
You did? You didn't have to go anywhere?
Yeah, that's many years ago. I was walking home from the pub, but I definitely saw the aurora borealis.
Are you sure, Michael?
Definitely,
are you sure?
Definite fantastical colours in the sky, but
it wasn't beer enhanced.
Maybe enhanced, but it was definitely there. No, you do occasionally get it.
I believe you.
We've had it in the last year or so where it's come quite far south, so we were able to get it here. But whenever it does, it's always cloudy. What have you? So I've never managed to. It was the only one time I've managed to see it.
It's amazing
to me. Yeah,
we had it here, I think, a couple of years ago, and it was kind of surreal. You just don't really believe it.
It is. It's quite special, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is special. It's like a gift. And so in these dark sky areas, you're much more likely to experience that because there is no light pollution. And there has been a study that shows the dark sky and kind of the calm and the quiet that provides actually is beneficial for health. So it's actually been proven to de-stress, give you a greater connection to the broader universe, if you like, and calms down the parasympathetic nervous system. So, it's like taking just a deep breath. So I'm all about that. I'm actually going to go and stay in one in April. We've booked to stay in Yorkshire, in a farm, just in a dark sky reserve. So I'm excited about that. But other places you can experience this in Exmoor, in Wales. Wales has actually 3 or 4 areas, as does Yorkshire, Cranbourne Chase, and Moors Reserve on the South Downs, which are all pretty close to London, actually, surprisingly. I wasn't expecting that there would be somewhere like that so close to London. So are there any others that you guys can think of?
I did,
or know of?
I added one to your list, but I think we've got yours printed off. But the first one I was aware of, again, doing the day job many years ago. I was up in Scotland, and the Galloway International Dark Sky Park. So that was designated in 2009. And it was the first in the world to earn that designation. Also awarded a gold tier park for its breathtaking and rare stargazing conditions.
Wow,
so that's been,
that sounds wonderful.
And that's a sort of more accessible part of Scotland as well. It's Galloway is just over the border, so you've got the Galloway
really
forest.
Close.
Yeah. So it's not actually, it was still quite far away from me, but in terms
where
of
was the other one you were talking about? Was it Knoydart?
Knoydart. So that's not actually designated as a dark sky park or what have you, but it is. It's the last. Well, they call it the last wilderness in the UK because it's complete. It's like a sort of island, but it's actually part of the mainland. It's a little peninsula that comes out. It's opposite the south end of Skye. And it's got the most remote pub in the UK. You either have to get a ferry there from Mallaig, which is about 30 to 40 minutes on the ferry, which in itself is amazing because you get to, both times we've seen dolphins, and we saw I can't remember the name of we saw a whale anyway. what breed it was, but
Big fish.
yeah. Or you can walk in, which is a 3-day walk. From
Wow.
That's a long
Dedication.
hike. Yeah, that's a long hike for a pint.
Yeah, it is. And by the time I got there, I was in desperate need of that pint, I can tell you. But I
Can
did
you just as a quick question? Can you stay at the pub, Michael?
I don't think you can, but there are lots of places in the village. The village is called Invery, and there's obviously in the summer there's a big area you can camp, but there's lots of different places. We've got a cottage that we go back to every year. We're going back there again in August, and I might do the walk in again. I think because it is amazing. It's really hard work because obviously there's no defined footpath. You're using a GPS and everything, so
hardcore.
Yeah, so by the second day you suddenly think, bloody hell, if I fall over now, we are in trouble, because it's a day and a half to go and get help in either direction.
Although on that note, I've been watching a program on TV here about the rescue service in Scotland.
Yeah.
And how they have helicopters that will pick you up from anywhere, basically.
Yeah.
They're amazing.
Yeah.
So you're never more than an hour away.
Yeah, so the mountain rescue, but in order to get, because obviously I had no signal whatsoever for 3 days.
Yeah.
Which again was great, but it does make you, and it is good for the soul to just sort of think, there's 3 of us doing it, and you do see other people doing the walk as well, but normally you'd be walking all day, but you just meet up with people in the bothies in the evening.
Yeah.
But it is amazing. It is just to be completely on your own in that wilderness. It's quite awe-inspiring, I have to say. It's sort of, you do take a step back and think, wow, we are alone.
Yeah, that to me is pure luxury, I think.
Yeah, it is, and I absolutely loved it. I mean, it was physically, really hard work because you've got to carry everything. You've got to carry what you're going to sleep in, what you're going to sleep on, your food, your water, spare clothes, all that kind of stuff. So you're carrying a minimum of about 12 kilos on your back, but it is
that sounds amazing. That sounds amazing. Jane, are you near the South Downs?
Yes, but I haven't heard of the place that you mentioned.
Yeah,
we do have an amazing observatory at this place called Hurstmonceux, which has got some really old, I guess they are called observatories, and basically they have these camping sessions that you can come and stay overnight and really get a great view of everything that's going on. It's also a science centre, and it's got a real old school charm about the place.
That sounds cool too.
At the more wussy end of the spectrum that Michael was talking about, I know a couple of spas have started doing stargazing as well. And you can pop outside, have a look. I think they're usually run by a local expert, and then you can retreat to the comfort of your 5-star bed.
That sounds rather nice too.
There's just certain points I would quite like that, to be fair.
Less chance of getting lost on your way home anyway.
Yeah. So there are various festivals if people want to go and experience these places, and they generally are like in February, March, or October, November. I guess the conditions are better. And darkskiesnationalparks.org.uk, you can go on there and check out all of these places and where to experience them. Moving on. Trend number 3, which I think is a really fun one, is experience-led travel. Local and personal. It's really about deep diving into local community, places, activities, and not being, it's not doing what the crowd is doing. It's doing something that's very particular to your interests and passions. So, that could be cultural activities, could be going to the theatre, literary tours. It could be food and drink, cookery schools, wine and beer tasting, learning how to make cider. It could be history, mudlarking on the banks of the River Thames and, finding artifacts from the Romans and, Victorian times. We've done that as a family. That was super fun. We ended up finding old Victorian, clay pipes
Okay.
and bottles that had been thrown in the Thames from like the 17th century. And you'd think that they were rare. I mean, it's just full of that kind of stuff. Roman coins are found pretty regularly. So that's a really fun thing to do. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard of that. That sounds quite cool,
Yeah.
actually.
No, it's really fun. Learning a skill, whether it's willow basket making or blacksmithing, carpentry, and an interesting one, equestrian travel in keeping with the year of the horse. I have also seen a few places featuring kind of like horse whispering type retreats where you go.
Yeah, they do that at Lucknam Park, I think.
Yeah.
Which must be quite near you, Michael. I think they've got their own stables, and apparently it's very, even people I've spoken to who maybe have been a little cynical going into it have actually found it very beneficial.
Yes. There's a place here called Miraval, and they do it with a horse whisperer, and I think it's very telling about your own personal energy and how the horse reacts to it, because anybody who rides horses will know that they pick up on your mood, your energy, anything that's going on with you. And I think these retreats are just really to get you to tune in to your kind of your body, your emotions a bit more. So
absolutely.
So I think that's quite interesting. There's one, we stayed in Bingham River House, which is in Richmond upon Thames when we went recently. I absolutely love this place. It's like I suppose a guest house, mini hotel, but it's also a membership club. They have retreats every week. They have different kinds of retreats and events, and they are having on the banks of the Thames like a horse experience. So they're bringing in horses and having one of these things. So I definitely think that's something that I've seen this year that I've never seen before.
Yeah, I think anything goes, really.
Yeah, anything goes. The other thing that is also really big, and we'll be tapping into a bit later on in the year, is kind of the Celtic Wheel of the Year or astrology travel. So Samhain or Halloween trips, midsummer trips, and relating to that, kind of more ancient festivals in the UK, which I think are really one of the things that make the UK special. Every village, every town, every city almost has a different way or different unique traditions. Whether it's wassailing and singing to the trees, or celebrating solstice at Stonehenge. There's an amazing festival in Penzance in December called Montol, which is the winter solstice celebration, where they dress up in amazing costumes and sort of dance in the streets. And then one that's definitely on my list is the Heliup in the Orkney Isles, which is like a Viking fire festival.
That does look good. Yeah.
Doesn't
Sounds
it?
fun.
Yeah.
It sounds a lot of fun to me. And they burn a Viking ship every year. They build it all year long.
Yeah.
And then they burn it.
Yeah.
And I think the theory is it's like letting the light back in a very dark period of their calendar, but it looks amazing.
Drinking as well, so it's like,
I think there has that element to it too.
Beer
but
and
it
fire.
does.
Sounds great.
Yeah, exactly. So any other immersive things that you guys can think of that spring to mind?
Not so spectacular. I think food, which it's not spectacular, but I think we can all agree it is important.
Definitely
I think
important.
that food and sort of nourishment side of things is also being taken a lot more seriously. I think here in the UK we're doing it a lot better as well. Some of the more luxurious spa hotels are starting to be more immersive in the way that they're looking at it. So again, going back to Rudding Park in Harrogate, they did this I can't remember what they called it, but they've got a restaurant which is called 52. And basically, guests, they actually arrive in the kitchen garden, which is beautiful. So before you even go to the restaurant, you're seeing all the herbs, you're seeing, I don't know, some of the vegetables, whatever's seasonally appropriate. And you get given a cocktail as well and shown around the garden by the chefs. And they're very much into sort of talking to you about how they cultivate the plants, but also how they use various ingredients within the cooking. And then you go into this restaurant, which I think was opened about a year ago, just before I visited. And it's like a show. But not in a gimmicky way. It's just a very immersive experience. It's very friendly. They have the row of chefs at the front who are making things, torching things, chopping things. And you are on a table with a small group. You don't necessarily know them, and you're just hearing about the food and its provenance and where the sort of local delicacies come from. And it's basically like a really good meal and a really great night of entertainment in one.
That sounds
And
great.
yeah, there's a lot to like about that kind of approach, I think.
Yeah, I love the provenance element as well.
Yeah,
and
no, me too.
Seeing it in the garden and then eating it.
Yeah, I mean, kitchen gardens, I think, used to be a little bit of, not a joke, but you'd sometimes go into the kitchen garden and you would see sort of a wilted chive and maybe a sort of slug-eaten bit of parsley.
A row of onions and a rosemary bush. And,
yes. Whereas now, I mean, some of them are amazing. Like Heckfield Place, for example, has absolutely stunning garden there, and I think the Pig hotels do it beautifully.
The Pig, and also again the Newt. I mean,
yes,
all of those.
I mean, that's an estate of foodiness, isn't it?
Their garden was just absolute heaven. Yeah. And you see them picking it for dinner, like they're out in the garden picking whatever's fresh. So that's always a gift, isn't it, when you get a meal like that?
Definitely.
There's also kind of sort of moving on to sort of different experiences, kind of the more literary movie inspired experiences. So, obviously Britain has a lot of locations that are perfect for movies, but we have Bridgerton, in Bath. I know that's been a big kind of immersive experience, and you can go on various tours. There's also more topical right now is the Hamnet, the movie, but I think filmed in Herefordshire in a place called Wibley or Werbley. I don't know how you pronounce it. Weobley. And all other Shakespearean locations too. So I think that will be seeing a kind of a flush of people coming in after that movie releases.
Yeah, I think they call that set jetting. That's the marketing term. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of set jetting around that movie, I think.
Just up the road from us, there's Woodchester Mansion, which is, you've been there, Lucy, because it's where
you got married. Yeah.
And that was used a couple of years ago as a location in The Crown. They used it as the location or the set for Gordonston, which was the
the school.
Oh gosh, now I think about it, it's that is totally right.
Yeah.
I know the scene where they kind of ride in to drop him off. Yeah. Also one of the most haunted places. If you want to have an immersive experience with a few ancient ghosts, which I think some people always love the idea of in the UK. We do have a fair few of those.
It's got a very interesting history, that place.
It does have a very
Roman
interesting.
To obviously, the Gothic mansion that was built there that was never finished,
and supposed to be very haunted. We didn't see anything, did we?
No.
Didn't experience anything.
I think it was used in the Second World War by MI6 to interview German spies.
There was graffiti on the walls by some of the prisoners, I noticed.
Yeah, exactly.
When we were there.
Yeah. And it is amazing because it was being built over a period of quite quite a long time, and then obviously they just ran out of money, and they've sort of preserved it to a point where literally the stonemasons literally downed tools, and their tools were left where they were like, we're not getting paid anymore, we're going home, and just left their tools where they
Wow.
yeah,
Fair enough.
yeah, quite.
Yeah.
There's just one on here, Lucy, the foodie fun. We were talking about that a minute ago, but I've actually done one of these, and that's the River
Which
Cottage
one?
Cookery School.
Oh, you've been there.
Yeah, I mean, it was 20 years ago when they first started doing it, so it was Hugh Fernley Whitting stores in the UK.
Yes.
Very much
Yeah.
sort of like
Was he doing the course? Was he
yeah,
running
so
it?
it was, I did it for my 30th, but it was a 30th birthday present from the family, and
That's
it was
awesome.
him, and there's a few other guys that you've seen on his television programs, and it was a very intimate day. We spent the whole day there. We literally had breakfast, lunch, and dinner there. And the day was billed as Pig in a Day with Hugh and Ray. Ray being his butcher, and it just showed we literally started the day with this isn't one for the vegans or the vegetarians, but you start the day with a whole pig.
Yeah.
And they show you kind of the whole nose to tail approach of not waste, being showing you how to use every single bit of the pig. It was very much a good eating day, making sausages and pate and prawns.
That's
and all
amazing.
that good stuff. Yeah, it was a really
I've
good
actually had a tour there. The actual site of the cookery school is beautiful, behind the house, behind the cottage, and they have an amazing garden there too.
Oh, it's again, going back to sort of the kitchen garden aspect, it was an amazing kitchen garden they had there.
Yeah.
But just showing you how to make, I really like trying to make things myself, like, curing my own bacon and smoking salmon, all that kind of stuff. And that kind of stemmed from that foodie day, and I learned how to make sausages and chorizo and hams and all that kind of stuff. It was so good, and it was quite an intimate group of about sort of like 10, 15 people or something like that. So and you sit down, you all have lunch together with Hugh and all the other chefs and everything. So it was really good.
I think that
really
would be an amazing experience for
sure.
It
was. I'll remember that forever. It was really good.
Yeah. The other thing, I mean, we've kind of touched on this, but mastering a craft, like traveling and mastering a skill or learning a new skill. So that was a new skill for you. Maybe it might be willow basket making, or the Royal School of Embroidery in Hampton Court Palace. They do courses where you can go for like a week and learn to do crewel embroidery, or so there's so many things and so many old traditional skills in the UK that people can come and learn. It's just a wealth of opportunity there that I think is quite exciting. There's one place in Cornwall called Cottage Ornay where you can stay and create. So they have little workshop spaces and different courses where you can go and like immerse yourself in mindful creation of certain things. So I think that would be really fun to do. But so question for you both: what can you do in the UK that you can't do anywhere else in an immersive way? Like, what do you think's like super unique that we can do that Americans maybe wouldn't experience?
Does afternoon tea count?
Yeah, I think that is unique, actually. Yeah, I mean,
we definitely do it on a different level, don't we? And it does fit very nicely with the whole kind of spa and wellness thing as well. Like, who doesn't want a massage with an afternoon tea?
Absolutely.
I think we do that particularly well. And some of some of the top spa hotels, it's a real thing. Go to, do you know Limewood in the New Forest?
Yes. Yeah.
I've had a particularly nice spa and afternoon tea combination there. And some of the London hotels obviously excel in this area too.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's not afternoon tea if you're not in the UK. Like
I think that's fair.
I've done afternoon tea parties for people here, you know, for events. And, you know, of course I do it as authentic as we would, but it's not in a British location.
Yeah, it's not in a country garden, is it?
It's not in a country garden, no.
Yeah.
And I think that is definitely something you can only do in the UK.
The Royal Crescent, actually, as well. Sorry, in Bath, is beautiful. I mean, that's obviously a quintessentially English hotel, but also it's got a really lovely back garden that you don't necessarily expect to be there, and it's perfect for cocktails and tea.
I'll one up you on that one. How about Buckingham Palace? You can go to Buckingham Palace and have afternoon tea in the summer when it's open. Yeah,
that's definitely one up.
Yeah,
I haven't done that.
I mean, they open in the summer months. I don't know what month it is that the Queen's not living there. She goes up to Balmoral. Not Queen, sorry, King.
Yep.
Is no longer living there.
Yeah.
He goes up to Balmoral, and then they open up Buckingham Palace, and you can go tour the house and then have afternoon tea. How British can you get?
Yeah.
Do you get to stay?
No, don't stay, darling. No staying, but allowed. But yeah, no, the tea, that's a pretty fun thing to do.
Yeah.
How about you, Michael? What do you think something that you could only do here?
Well, just brief on the kind of like the sort of royal tourism. I went to Sandringham, which is privately owned, so it's not part of the Crown Estate. So obviously Buckingham Palace is owned by the Crown Estate, which is owned by the country, and a lot of the royal palaces are. So, but the Sandringham is owned by it's passed down from monarch to monarch, so it's a privately owned residence. And they opened that up as well. So obviously the late Queen used to stay there. I think she used to go there sort of at the start of December, and she'd stay until the end of January or the start of February, which was the anniversary of the death of her father. That's how long she would stay there. So when she's not there, they open it up, and I went there in the summer, and that was really lovely to actually go and see, because it really feels like a family home, because it's not an official palace. And it's privately owned, so that going again, walking around the gardens, and going and seeing, you obviously have a little tour of the house, and that it just feels it's a lot smaller than you think, and it just feels very intimate, very much a family home.
That's where they have Christmas, isn't it?
They have Christmas there, yeah, and you even you can go into the ballroom, which isn't quite as grand as it sounds, but that's where they sit and watch their after the King's or the Queen's speech. They used to go and sit in there and watch a film, and on the big projector, and they just sit there as a family and watch a film.
I mean, they're only normal people, really.
Keeping it real,
which is quite cool. But what I was going to say, I don't want to stereotype myself, but I was just thinking, what could you do only in this country? And that's kind of doing a distillery tour of the Scottish distilleries, or some are better than others, but going to a proper traditional brewery tour, smaller and more artisanal, the better, really.
Yes,
I got very lucky. I used to work there many years ago, but we got a really good local brewery, Cotswold Brewery, just up the road from me, 2 miles away. And they literally do everything by hand. The malt is poured into the mash tun by hand. It's then dug out by hand, but every single process is done by hand, and it's seeing it as it would have been done hundreds of years ago in a old Cotswold stone building that was built in 17 something or other as a brewery, which was derelict for a while, and then they've been brought back as a brewery in the early 80s as a tower brewery. But going and seeing that, how a really traditional old brewery, and do a tour, and they have a tap room every couple of weeks where you can go and just on a Friday night, they've got a license, you can go and try all of their beers and have some food, and there's music and that kind of thing. That's a really cool thing to go.
I think also gin has become a very big thing in the UK. It's not
huge.
as big over here in the US. Like a gin and tonic is a British staple before Sunday dinner, or you know, And I would say for most Americans, they just see it as a plain gin, but actually in the UK, there are so many varieties of gin, so many so many different flavors that are added with herbs or botanicals, or even we went to Cornwall once and they had like a Christmas pudding seasonal gin, which was delicious with lots of like different sort of Christmassy type herbs in there. And there's a good Wood Brothers distillery. Actually, I think it's in the Cotswolds or around there. And they do tours where you can go and learn how gin is made. And so that's also something that I think is specifically quite British.
Yeah, and a lot of the smaller ones, the more sort of artisanal distilleries, will actually let you can do an experience day where you can go and actually make your own gin.
Yeah.
So that
would be really fun.
Yeah, I've done the Bombay Sapphire one actually. It was really fun. So you get to see all the aromatics and you can choose, and then you have a couple of drinks afterwards.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Where is that? Where is the Bombay Sapphire one?
You know what? I don't know if because the gin was strong, but I can't actually remember exactly where it is. But it was very good, and it was a beautiful building. Yeah, I want to say near Surrey, but I'm pretty hazy actually on that.
No, that's all right.
Did a gin tour kind of in London actually, because I mean for hundreds of years there was only like two distilleries called London Dry Gin. I think it was Sipsmith that were the first distiller in quite a few hundred years to apply for a license to distill gin in London. And there wasn't even they didn't know how to go about it because it had never been done for about 200 or 300 years. And we did this tour of little distilleries and boutique, really cool little gin bars in London, and that was really good fun. And there was even one guy who literally made it. He was. It was like a giant chemistry set. He literally made gin in this cupboard, and he was making it with by vacuum distilling. So obviously, when you distill, normally it's you heat the spirit up, and then the vapors go through the botanicals. But he was doing it in putting the gin and then putting it in a little vacuum, so it boiled at room temperature. So he was getting all these really special flavors because it wasn't being spoiled by the heat and what have you. But he was only making literally a bottle at a time.
Amazing.
And that was a really cool day. But yeah, I don't remember much towards the end, I have to say.
I think
this is the problem.
Yeah. I think for me, one of the most special things that the UK offers that the US has very little of, maybe a little more on the East Coast, but it's experiencing immersive experiences in really old properties. I mean, America maybe has some from the 1600s on the East Coast, but we have properties that go back to the 13, 12, even 1100s sometimes.
And that's the thing we really take for granted, actually. I mean,
we really do.
It's
and
true.
now being over this side, when I come home, I have a new kind of sense of awe about the properties and the things we can experience that are old.
And it's just like the Neolithic sites as well. Like, I mean, literally they're everywhere, but you don't see them because they literally are everywhere. Like, again, a mile up the road, there's an ancient, Neolithic Iron Age fort. Where which is the local, you walk around it and you can see why they obviously built a fort there, because you can literally see from three different angles, and there's burial chambers everywhere.
There's a place actually not far away from you called Butser. It's in Dorset, and it's about experiential, and I can't remember the word for it, archaeology. So you only learn about how it was by actually doing it. And being in the kind of mode that they were in when they were alive. So, they're cooking like they did, they're sleeping like they did, they're creating art like they did. So they're actually living as they did. And it's a really cool experience for kids to go and see. And they have a lot of kind of storytelling nights where, because in those days, storytelling was a big way of communicating and spreading the word, and no Netflix. And it's really, I went to one of their sessions. It was a really fun, magical thing to sit around the fire and listen to the stories that they used to tell. So I think that's a pretty cool thing. So
yeah, I think, sorry, just on the spa front, actually, there are some really nice spa hotels with history. So there's a place called Borringdon Hall in Plymouth, which, again, Michael, you'll like to know, has got a Michelin-starred restaurant, which is excellent. But it's almost like a castle. And I think there's a rumour that Henry VIII actually slept there. And then you've got Cliveden, which is sort of politically historical with the
all of the
Profumo
controversy.
pool. But again, a stunning building that you can actually stay in. I mean, you've got this sweeping driveway, and you just feel like royalty if you stay there.
So number 4, outdoor and activity-led travel. We've talked a lot about this, so I think, we don't have to spend a lot of time on this. We've got wild swimming. We've got foraging, which I think is a big thing now. Foraging for food,
definitely.
And then you get to go cook it up. And there's a place or an organisation called Totally Wild UK where you can spend a day with them, go forage for your dinner, and then go cook it up on the beach or on the moors or wherever you happen to be. Surfing is actually pretty huge in the UK, and I don't think people realise that. And then you've got your good old trails and hiking, your mountain climbing, your fell walking, and the classic hikes that we have. We have so many hikes from the West Highland Way, Cotswolds Way. There's also, it escapes me. Oh, the Southwest Coast Path, which goes all the way round Cornwall, Devon. And Wales have their own path now too, I think, on the coast. So, in fact, I think you can pretty much walk the whole way around the UK on a coastal path if you want to. So definitely
probably
a lot. Any other
year to do that, but yeah,
it would. Yeah, kind of a nice thing to do though if you were retired, and any other outdoorsy things that we've forgotten? Do you think?
On the spa front, not loads, but quite a few of the spas with more space are sort of bigging up their, I think they're called pursuits, they're outdoor pursuits. So probably Gleneagles was one of the first. So, you can go clay pigeon shooting. I think you can go fishing.
Golfing.
There is, definitely golfing. So a lot of pursuits. There's Estelle Manor, which is another sort of newcomer to the luxury end. They offer a good range of pursuits there as well, and an amazing purpose-built, dripping in marble spa. But I think where there's space, there are pursuits coming. So this is going to be, definitely a trend to watch.
There's one in that we stayed at with the kids called Another Place. It's the sister hotel of Watergate Bay Hotel.
Oh, right.
And it's in the Lake District on Ullswater. And we went nighttime wild swimming. It was winter, and we had wetsuits on, and we had like lit up floaty, like Beryl here has her little orange thing.
Yeah.
We had lit up orange buoys, or buoys as they call them in the UK. And it was absolutely magical, actually. Talk about stargazing. You were just, not only were you stargazing, but you were like bobbing up and down on the water.
Yeah.
Sounds fun. There's retreats as well. Oh, yeah. Sorry.
I was just saying coast steering, is it? Yeah.
What is coast steering?
So it's kind of, you kind of like sort of scrambling along the sort of the coast. So you're kind of jumping off rocks into the sea and kind of swimming around. There's a lot of the coastline that you just don't see because, there's no roads that go anywhere near it. You only ever see these places from a fishing boat, from the sea, what have you. And, some of the coast path, kind of, you would miss areas of it. But yeah, so coast steering, you're kind of like, you're in a wetsuit, and you kind of, you're sort of scrambling along. You have a guide with you, but you kind of, you can jump, jumping off rocks and swimming around into a bay. You find these, and you go to little bays where you just are completely inaccessible, possibly even by a boat.
Yeah.
And you get there, and it's kind of like a
I would
sort of
love that. That sounds
scrambling, but
awesome.
like on
Yeah.
on the actual coast, which is
Yeah.
really cool.
And then you do have scenic drives. Like we have the classic, like the North Coast 500 in Scotland, where you can go all the way along the coast. So that's a fun thing to do too, I think. Go on a long classic drive.
Yeah.
And there's loads of companies that will do that. Like just thinking of your American guests, like you don't have to be the person driving. Although the privilege in Scotland is the roads are less busy, aren't they?
Yeah,
for sure, especially up there in the north.
Yeah.
Actually, the next podcast we're doing is driving in the UK, so we'll be giving some tips and tricks on that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's definitely something that can be challenging, but once you know a few tips is not so bad. Finally, trend number 5, off-season and shoulder season vacations. So what we're calling the smart traveler's secret. I have recently done a couple of vacations in the UK. One was in November, and then we just came back this week from a vacation in January. And I can't tell you how wonderful it was. There were no crowds. Edinburgh was empty. London was pretty empty. The plane was empty. Like it's just, and prices are really good. People are really excited to see you. They're not stressed, and not that they're not excited to see you normally, but I think it's particularly special, when someone comes in January. So I think it might be the new way forward for our family. Yeah, I don't know what you guys, have you been on any shoulder season vacations at all?
I love a coastal trip off season. I mean, okay, you don't get the sun, but let's face it, in the UK, you might not get the sun anyway.
Yeah.
So at least you're not going to get the sun. You know what to pack.
Love going to the British seaside in winter. There's something so romantic about walking down on an empty beach in winter. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just feels really luxurious. You get blown
really
like that. And there's something about having a coastal walk as well, and you just come back sort of all salty and blown and red-faced and
have a afternoon
ruddy
tea or a nice pint of beer or something, and something
open fire, piece of cake.
I love it. In fact, I think I prefer going to the seaside off season rather than on season. I think I'd take that any day. You can also go swimming. I mean, people are swimming. They're putting swimsuits on or wetsuits if you don't want to be super brave, but all those things are possible in winter too. So
definitely. I mean, you just have to obviously follow the local guidelines on safety and everything, but it feels so good. You just feel so alive if it's you come out the water all sort of frozen and you've earned your cup of tea and cake and no one else is around. So
as I said today, I just went on an extra long dog walk because it was a really misty day, and obviously I've got the hills and the woods very close to me, so it was just actually being up in the woods there, but it was really misty, and everything, all the moss was just wet and everything, and it just looked quite, you'd almost expect a dinosaur to come through. It would just look magical, and just
so. Sorry, Michael, carry on.
I was just going to say, walking. You don't think it has to be something that's done in the spring or the summer. Sometimes on the right days, walking, in the countryside has its own benefits as well, because you get all windswept and what have you, and then you finish your walk and then you go to a nice pub that's there's not many people in it because you're off season, and you've got a big roaring fire there, and you've got the snug to yourself.
And we Brits do cozy very well. The roaring fire and the lovely sofa in a pub. You can't beat it, basically. You really can't. And you just don't get that in summer.
No.
So,
And the hotel prices, like you say, it's, you can get some really good deals.
really good
And
deals.
you can probably stay 2 or 3 nights sometimes for the price of a peak season night. So
Yeah,
it's
or
win
stay
there.
somewhere you wouldn't normally be able to afford.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a perfect opportunity to maybe try something a bit more, in a different price bracket that you wouldn't normally, go for. So I think it's a wonderful thing to do in the UK. Absolutely. And generally the weather is pretty, the weather is what it is. The experience is still good, as long as you don't come expecting sunshine every day, then you're fine.
And it's not going to be extreme. It gets cold, but it doesn't get like, sort of, probably in most of the UK, it may get sort of down to sort of -5 or something like that, but that's normally at night. But in the day, it's never really, it's cold, but it's not,
I get asked that a lot actually by Americans, because I'm in Seattle, and they say, "Oh, the weather must be very similar." And I'm like, no, here is much more extreme. We get a lot more snow, we get a lot more wind, we get a lot more rain. Britain's kind of just in the middle.
Yeah, well, we
It's
have
kind
good
of
weather because of the Gulf Stream. We get this sort of like tropical air that's coming up through. So places like Cornwall and where I am in the West Country, it's quite damp because you've got a lot of warm air coming up from the southwest. So if you sort of drew a line, we'd be a lot further north than say New York in the winter looks really really cold.
really cold.
Yeah.
I hadn't experienced cold until I went to Boston in the winter. That was cold.
Yeah, I mean, you never really.
so-
You might get that in certain places in Scotland, but the majority of the UK never really gets that cold. We don't really get an awful lot of snow, and when we do get snow, God, we make a fuss about it.
Yeah.
We just on the final note, we Brits love to talk about the weather. In fact, I'm surprised we haven't talked about it before now. But it's a topic. If you're ever stuck for anything to chat about,
anybody, literally, it's just the opening conversation. Just any complete stranger, you go up and start talking about. Oh God, isn't it cold today? Oh, it's bitter, isn't it? Oh yeah, it's supposed to get worse tomorrow.
That wind, I tell you.
Next week it's getting better, but
if you ever stuck to talk about anything with a British person, just start with the weather. You
it's
can't
a stereotype,
true.
but it is true. It absolutely is true.
Well, on that note, thank you so much. It was lovely chatting to both of you today. Thank you, Jane, for joining Michael and I.
Thanks for having me.
That was wonderful.
Yeah.
Hopefully you will join us again in the future.
I hope so.
If we haven't put you off.
No, we haven't put you off too much. Thank you again. We will be joining you soon with a podcast on how to drive, tips and tricks for the UK. So join us for that and have a good day. Bye-bye. If today's conversation has been good company, please follow the Transatlantic Teacast wherever you listen. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. Leave us a rating and share the episode with one person you think would love it. This is genuinely how we grow. Thank you.